Public Affairs Forum of WZTV Fox 17. And now your host, Dr. James Haney.
Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is mentoring the African-American male. And we have two persons here this morning to talk about some of the problems and some of the successes involved in the whole mentoring process. We have with us Mr. JThrealkill. And of course, Mr. JThrealkill is the executive director of 100 Black Men of Middle Tennessee. And with Mr. JThrealkill is Mr. RKing. Mr. RKing is the program coordinator for the Men of Distinction program of Bethlehem Centers of Nashville. And gentlemen, let me welcome both of you to the show this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Haney.
Thank you, Dr. What we'd like to do this morning is to talk about the problems that are generally associated with young people in our society, and to recognize that certainly not only black youngsters are involved in some of the things that we will talk about, but I think that both of you have indicated that you are primarily concerned with the mentoring of African-American males. And so we'll try to talk about it from that perspective. Mr. JThrealkill, let's start off with you and have Mr. King to give us essentially the same information. That is, some information about your background and education and the things that were important that eventually led you to the executive directorship of 100 Black Men of Middle Tennessee.
Dr. Haney, I grew up in 3 housing projects here in Nashville, the South Nashville Edge Hill projects, J.C. Napier, and Lane Garden projects in East Nashville. I was fortunate in that I had parents that were very concerned about me learning discipline and the things that were important in helping me to develop into a productive adult. I attended school, and our parents had rules about doing our homework. We had to come in when the lights came on, even though kids were still outside. And even though we didn't appreciate it at the time, those things were important as far as us learning the importance of education. I was fortunate after attending East High School to receive a football scholarship to Vanderbilt University, where my parents still encouraged me to continue my academics in case my athletic career didn't materialize. I received an injury in college and turned my focus to my artwork that I enjoyed just as much. And after graduation, Rosetta Davis, who had been familiar with my work as an artist, encouraged me to apply for the Community Services Director's position at Edge Hill Center, South Street Center at the time, and you're familiar with the organization. But in the process of doing that, I was able to return to a community where I had grown up, was able to tell the young people that I was working with that I came from this same community, in the process help them through arts and summer employment programs and drug prevention programs to develop into positive, productive young people who were focusing on their education, staying off of drugs, staying in school, and in the process we built a successful program at Edge Hill Center. I think my work at Edge Hill Center led the 100 Black Men of Middle Tennessee to inquire about my coming on board with that organization. I looked at the organization and saw that it had a tremendous commitment toward helping young black males, which is an important thing to me, and I was fortunate to be able to come on board with that organization so that I'm continuing in the work of trying to develop our African-American youth to successful adults.
Very good. And Mr. King, what about you and the Men of Distinction, your background, before we get into the Men of Distinction?
Well, my background, I am a Nashvilleian also. I'm a Pearl High School graduate. I went to Elliott School.